Welcome to the African Warriors Fighting Championship, presented to you by noneotherthansteak.com. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have Daba versus Bahagon Biyu. You can see the replays on the screen already. Lots of action incoming. Boom, pull in, get struck. 3-3-minute rounds, 1 minute rest in between. Strikes are only permitted from the wrapped hand. Kicks are permitted from either leg. Ladies and gentlemen, the action is about to begin. African Warriors Fighting Championship, round 1. The world's biggest Dambe promotion. Forgive me, Daba in the blue shorts versus Bahagon Biyu in the green. Referee watching intently on the side, both men in the center of the sandpit, establishing effective range, fighting from your optimum distance. Your optimum distance, conversely, is also the distance that your opponent is least effective from. So, unless you're fighting someone with equal reach and equal height. However, let's bring our eyes back to the action on the screen. Both men using their footwork to establish their positioning, from which they can utilize timing to land their strikes. It's in the moments that nothing is happening that the most is happening in professional combat, ladies and gentlemen. So please pay attention. The knockout is what you see after all this stuff has been done. So if we can understand what they're doing now, it enhances the experience of this Dambe promotion even more. Of course, this Dambe promotion being African Warriors Fighting Championship. And right now, we have Daba in the blue shorts versus Bahagon Biyu. Slow and tentative start so far from both gentlemen. As the action progresses, we will see more. Something to pay attention to is that Bahagon Biyu has his back closer to the edge of the sandpit. Why is that important? Because if you get pushed out of the boundaries of the sandpit, that's a 1-point deduction or a 1-point addition to your opponent. So where you stand becomes very important. The referee, seeing enough, comes in to urge both athletes. We need more action. And you see Bahagon Biyu doing the sign of the cross before going into battle. Alright, Daba in the blue shorts, circling to his left, lateral movements, creating angles, getting better foot positioning. Ooh, throwing. I believe that's our first real strike of the fight so far. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone's guess as to how this one can go. Alright, Daba blue shorts versus Bahagon Biyu in the green shorts. The referee urging both Daba and Bahagon Biyu for more action. Ooh, throwing and missing is Bahagon Biyu. Daba settling back into the center of the sandpit, re-establishing that optimum real estate in the middle of the sandpit. Circling to his left. I think this is just going to be a feeler round, ladies and gentlemen. A round to feel the energy of your opponent, know where they are at, know what your range is, know what their distance is, figure out better timing. Because any moment from now, round 1 will be over. Both men swing, throwing, and landing. The referee reporting a 1-point addition for a yet unknown fighter. You can see the referee urging these men on. Alright, Daba throwing twice and missing. Bahagon Biyu. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the first round, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it was slow, but it's okay. You take the good with the technical. Sometimes it's not always going to be action packed. Sometimes you have technicalities. People just need to observe what's happening, settle in place, and then get into action. So corner men urging both men on the screen right now. You see Daba, and Bahagon Biyu is already running around the sandpit. He didn't utilize a lot of energy that first round, so you can't blame him for running around, getting warmed up before we go into the second round of the evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it appears we are going straight into round 2. Daba versus Bahagon Biyu. Left leg in front for Daba. That's the orthodox stance. Working the body, then trying to go to the head. Just landing on the chest, but still solid connection. When you work the body, the head begins to open up. Those hands going up and down is to mask the deadly intention behind the spear, which will be thrown down the pipe by Bahagon Biyu at some point. And you see him try to do it there. But his technique is not as sharp as Daba, at least from that one flurry. Better technique just means you have better energy conservation, more power behind your strikes, everything. And it looks like Daba has better technique in terms of just the execution of his right hand. Utilizing lateral movement to his left in Daba to avoid the opponent getting a dominant position in terms of real estate in the middle of the sandpit. And now we go right back into Bahagon Biyu throwing and missing. Daba, of course, in the blue shorts. Bahagon Biyu in the green shorts. Ladies and gentlemen, African Warriors Fighting Championship is the world's biggest Dambe promotion. Yes, the world, not just Africa. So consider giving them your show of support, your subscriptions, your follows, your likes on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Throwing twice, missing, Daba. Bahagon Biyu still not exploring a lot of action in this bout. It's been very slow. And I wonder what the reason is. Is it that he's just not used to fighting this kind of opponents? Does Daba have him covered in the technique department, and he's struggling to adapt? Oh, solid throw from Daba. And we have Bahagon Biyu still stalking, applying pressure, looking for the right moments to time and throw that spear right down the pipe. MC screaming on the mic. Oh, solid counter from Daba. Daba is pretty good with those counters. He waits for his opponent to commit, then on the way out he takes a quick pivot step to his left or right, and then he counters, typically to his right, and he counters with his right, because the direction you step in is generally the direction your strike will be thrown from. Generally, anyway. You can always break that rule as you get better. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that's the end of round 2. Daba versus Bahagon Biyu. Replays on the screen shortly. Yeah, Bahagon Biyu, he utilizes more of a hammer than a spear when he comes in sometimes. And you have Daba throwing in, switching stances while throwing. That's technical stuff in boxing. But losing his balance utilizing the same combination shortly thereafter. And these were some of the strikes that were thrown in close proximity. Look at that nice cross guard from Daba, blocking any incoming damage and countering Bahagon Biyu. One exchange later. Excellent stuff. Alright, you can only imagine what the cornermen are instructing both athletes to do as we go into this final round, which has been slower so far. The cornerman telling him what to do, telling Daba what to do, as we go into the sandpit for the third and final round. Ladies and gentlemen, Daba versus Bahagon Biyu. Daba in the blue shorts, utilizing right lateral movement to get a better angle to throw his right hand, which is his spear. Bahagon Biyu has his spear on his right hand, and you see him circling to his. Bahagon Biyu has his on his left, and that's why you see him circling to his left. Pulls in. Yeah, I believe that's an illegal technique, not allowed to hold and pull. You can hold the shield with your fingers, but not the person's entire arm. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we go right back. This is more action in the third round. I think both men are more comfortable. After feeling each other out and checking out the range and getting into distance, it appears we're ready for fireworks. Daba in the blue shorts versus Bahagon Biyu in the green. Ooh, breaking the rhythm and landing right there. That's what happens when you go first, Bahagon Biyu. If you go first, generally you have more options than the opponent who's trying to just defend and counter. But if you're good enough at countering, you can just counter them regardless. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're still in the third round. Let's see how it goes. African Warriors Fighting Championship. On the screen right now, Daba in blue versus Bahagon Biyu in green. When you see them having their shields high up like that, it's to obstruct the vision, to distract so that you can land. Oh, that was a solid uppercut landed by Bahagon Biyu. Oh, and countering Daba on the way in as well. You see, when he gets comfortable, he's pretty good. It's just that Daba just seems to have him checkmated so far, and it's not been easy. He's had an answer. He's been more offensively active, and it's been bearing fruits. So Bahagon Biyu has just found himself on playing catch up the entire time. Ladies and gentlemen, Daba versus Bahagon Biyu. African Warriors FC is of course on Instagram and streaming on Kick on the weekends. African Warriors FC as well. Daba throwing and missing, and of course the African Warriors FC is on TikTok and on YouTube as well, where this will be played. African Warriors Fighting Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, slow fights, not exactly what you would call action-packed, but still a lot to be learned in the footwork department, a lot to be observed in the body language department, a lot to be observed in the technique department, as we see Bahagon Biyu going in now, throwing. Daba throwing to the body, missing just barely by an inch. And then this was when Bahagon Biyu pulled him back in for the counter. That was the uppercut variation. And then this was the matador out of the sandpit, then resetting right back into the action. This was the uppercut again. If he had been using this earlier, if he had made this adaptation earlier, one could only have wondered how it would have affected the trajectory of the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are going to a judge's decision. Daba versus Bahagon Biyu. Any moment now, we will be finding out who our victor is. Ladies and gentlemen, Daba is your winner. That's the end for today. I am your commentator and host for the evening, Oche Young Jollof Edache. This has been the African Warriors Fighting Championship. Have a good day and good night.